going to cloud, I mean, obviously there are some benefits that we talked about early on, but are there any other benefits that you have seen I'm talking overall EPM cloud perspective, right? Being on a cloud, what benefits have you seen yourselves?
Yeah, the strong point on the cloud is definitely the data management, right? Because all of this adapter is very thoroughly built, and so I mean it's very easy to integrate between different cloud system, and so obviously we also implement EDMCS just because we are not a classic HFM shop. We more a EPMA HFM shop, so we heavily rely on EPMA. So EDMCS becomes kind of like our replacement for the EPMA part of the the on-prem uh, um, part of the metadata management. Um, yeah, I think integration wise, it's make it a lot easier for us. So less of the file. With that, I think latest with planning coming out with this freeform, Space Cube, that actually would help us too with getting out of the space cloud side of the world. So that's I think something we are right now looking at as well. But I mean, but I'm jumping to planning with that regard. So, but FCCS wise, I mean, yeah, EPM overall, that's a lot of great things in terms of making easy to integrate and then integration wise. And
Right, right. What about you, John? What do you think about cloud versus, you've been living in the HFM on-prem for a long time. Where do you see the benefits?
I think we see the benefits in a similar area. We were using FDME with HFM as well as DRM. So when we moved to the cloud, we saw the benefits of being able to utilize EDMCS, which I think is actually a great product. We've had a lot of success with it, being able to push to 4 different planning applications, being able to have folks make one update to the entity structure and it flow down and subscribe down to the other applications has been tremendous. I would say that, and also the monthly patching, being able to get notification, run replay commands to validate that everything's still working in our test environment, but yet receive enhancements monthly and or quarterly that are a benefit to the teams. Some things we might not have time to implement right away, but other things like EPM automate commands will pop up every once in a while. We're like, oh yeah, hey, we can use that. And being able to then throw that into our coding, our scripting, PowerShell scripting, it has been tremendous, right? So I would say that from a patching perspective, along with also just the cloud nature of the application. But otherwise, we kind of did just do our best to lift and shift. We were already using DRM, but otherwise, yeah, those are probably the biggest benefits for us.
yeah, John, I think that's a good point. Monthly patches, like I love it and I hate it. Like when I hate it is I have to deal with it every month. But good thing is you have some cool stuff coming out as well. But sometimes we asking like, should we have a quarterly patch? And then you turn out, sometime monthly patch have some good thing and you want to utilize it. So some of this stuff you just have to work with Oracle. I mean, I think that's part of the nice thing is on the cloud. The EPM cloud is now you have Oracle behind the scene that would be willing to work with you just to kind of get stuff out there compared to on-prem, and it's just you can sometimes lock down with just limited support. I think on in terms of features and stuff like that.
For sure. Well, sorry, Roy, not to interrupt, but I also had my Perficient PM, Matt Hopkins, ping me on like a Monday night. He was like, "Hey, did you turn up all that on-prem stuff?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Are you completely decommissioned?" I'm like, "I think so. Why?" And he's like, "Well, there's a 0 day that came out," and I'm like, "Oh." But I didn't have to worry about it because our on-prem stuff had been decommissioned, so that 0 day vulnerability never even crossed our mind because Oracle had already taken care of it. So that is a huge benefit, like Richard was saying.
Absolutely, that makes a big it makes a big difference. One of the things that I want to highlight here in terms of the patching cycle, right? New components come out and you are not forced into using them, right? They are default setting for most of those new features is off. You can go play with it in your test environment, make sure it works for you before you go and use it.